You hear it better now?
Very much better, yes.
Better? Yes, I'll take out my hat. That will work. Okay. So let me go back to starting and sharing this. Is everybody ready? Okay. So I'm gonna mute everybody. And I'm gonna go back to my Okay, so what is iridology? I was talking about the study of the iris and pupil. Each person has a unique pattern of fiber structures and colors. This is really truly what I look at when I look at people's eyes to identify their personality traits, their behavioral issues, or any kind of emotional or physical weaknesses. So as an iridologist, I interpret these fibers to assess genetic strength and weaknesses. Well, the history of iridology goes far, far back. It's like 1000 BC. Babylonians knew how to read the disease from the eyes. Ignaz von Pacelli, European founder, was a medical doctor, and he actually used iridology to learn and help himself to find the true cause of any disease. But at the end, he actually said, when he close to his deathbed, that he can see the sign, but where's the disease? And this is exactly what happened in 1826. Most iridologists weren't aware that when you look at the eyes, you actually look at the genetic disposition. So that means it comes from previous generations back, that you can see a sign in the eyes, but it doesn't mean that you might have problems in that organ. So it's not from this lifetime. So when I look at little kids, like they're like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I can see like a sign in the liver, it doesn't mean they already have liver issues. It just means that from generation to generations, they carry on a weakness in that organ system. Most people in America know about the American founder of iridology, who was Dr. Bernard Jensen. He has done a lot of translations of all the textbooks we had in Europe. He translated them to English and was also one of the major components to bring iridology into America, into the holistic field. That was 1929, and here's the problem what happened with iridology over the last, I would say, 50 years. Well, people never actually adapted to the new findings that we have found out of the last 20, 30 years. So a lot of times you can still find iridologists in America who practice from the knowledge from the 1970s. So gladly, his daughter Ellen Jensen came on board of the International Iridology Practitioner Association and actually made sure that all the curriculum and everything is being updated. And now you can say that there is more of a combined iridology worldwide. So the organization that I'm the president of, we're trying to detect and unify the European, the American, the Russian, and Australian iridology research. So we founded a standardized iridology in the world. So major importance is if somebody is interested to study iridology, it should definitely be an IPA certified school or an IPA certified iridology instructors, since they have to go every 2 years for rigorous training to get recertified and stay up to date. Of course, I don't want to like bore you with that, right? Let's get into the juicy part. So, 3 components of iridology. We know there's a physical part. We have all seen that from the last 50, 60 years, but there's also an emotional part and a spiritual part. Today, I want to talk a little bit about each part, so you kind of get an understanding of what it means now that iridology becomes more of a 3-dimensional tool. So this is a lymphatic eye, a mixed hematogenic eye. So if you're like me and have green eyes, slightly green eyes, then you wonder now, well, where's my eye, right? When you really look at a digital camera through the iris, you can see that we actually have fibers white here and then yellow over it or brown over it. And that can give the reflection as if you are having green eyes, but generally said in iridology identification, you're still in a part of the lymphatic types. Same for the mixed or biliary eye. That is always an eye that has some sort of blue eyes somewhere in the last 2 generations. Or even dad could be, or mom could be blue, and the opposite parent brown-eyed. And then we have here the hematogenic type eye. That hematogenic type, we call it the pure brown eye because it shows the same color from the center to the outer edge. So what does that all mean, right? Well, it's almost like, the blood type diet. The blood type diet puts categories of, the O type, A type, B type, and found out there are specific diets that work much better for specific blood types. Well, this is exactly the direction that the iridology goes towards, that we can group certain irises now into categories and give general information. So physical iridology, here is the map. And as I was just explaining to everybody that Bernard Jensen, he was the one who brought America to iridology to America. And now the vision came from Alan Jensen. And this is pretty much the iridology map that the whole world almost uses. So all the kind of mappings of the energy reflexes of each organ is accurate worldwide. But of course, we're not going back to, pointing out a million diseases. That was another issue. So if I go back, sometimes you find iridologists to take pictures and then they say, oh gosh, your thyroid is broken, this is broken, that is broken. That is not true, actually. It's just a genetic weakness. It doesn't mean you have a problem in this, as having thyroid issues or liver issues. This is what we found out from research. From having tons and tons, thousands and thousands of people signing up questionnaires and seeing the iris pictures from the blue eye type, this is what we found out. So we found out that a lymphatic blue iris generally has physical weaknesses by having too much mucus buildup within the lymph. They have more hyperactive immune system. They have more high acidic pH balance. And this could lead to allergies, infections, skin issues, kidney stones, psoriasis, arthritis, bronchitis, fluid retention. And as you can see, those are all diseases that have something to do with the immune system or mucus buildup. Let me show you what that means. So generally that means when we have here a creamy part, right here, that is where the lymphatic system is. So the lymphatic system is where it's a little stagnated, and this is why the blue type person has to eat more of a mucus-free diet. So dietary suggestions are a low-acid diet, avoid mucus-forming foods such as milk products, white sugar, and white flour. And of course, you want to reduce the intake of coffee and alcohol because we're talking about that they have a different acidic pH balance, too high, just generally, even the moment they were born. So what do we want to include then and recommend to them? Well, more alkaline stuff and especially hydrate them more. So we include celery, parsley, watermelon, or lemon water into their regimen. And keep hydrated because one thing is for clear, we found out blue-eyed people never feel thirsty until it's too late. The moment they feel thirsty, they have already been dehydrated. So let's go now to my mixed eye or biliary eye. Well, that is what we found out. Like when you look here, the pigmentation is definitely darker in the center and then it gets lighter out to the edge. So in the iridology world, the darker, the less energy, the less vibration, and the more support the body needs. From our iridology map area, the center from the pupil to the area ring here is always the digestive system. So of course now you can see that the general physical weakness is digestion issues, liver not performing, gallbladder issues. So this, of course, then could lead to high and low blood sugar fluctuations, constipation, lactose intolerance, and general upset stomach. As I say, this is just generalized. Of course, there comes all sorts of other information into iridology, but this is a great start for everybody who wants to just take care of their own genetics. So the dietary suggestion for that person is definitely not the keto diet, that because that's very high in oils and fats. And remember, they have more issues with the digestion. So it includes foods for digestive strength like beets, lemons, raw cabbage, ginger, and practice proper food combining. So in case you don't understand what food combining is, it's been said that you shouldn't mix your proteins. So if you have like a meat protein, then definitely don't mix it with beans or with cheese. There's also another thing that you shouldn't do when you do food combining. You don't want heavy starchy carbohydrates and heavy protein at the same meal. Unfortunately, that's the meal that we have been taught here in, I think, America and in Europe, that you should have a protein and you should have a carb. But sometimes when you don't have the strength, it's much better to eliminate one or the other, because then you can produce the appropriate digestive enzymes for either the carbohydrates or either for the proteins. So here's my true eye. I get the true brown eye. So in this case, general, the physical weakness would be again, everything has to do more with the blood composition. That's why we call it hematogenic. Hema in Latin means blood. So there's more poor blood circulation, and they also have the inability to store minerals. What does that mean? Well, that also means that they might be iron deficient or iodine deficient, and you can see that this could lead to, thyroid issues, Hodgkin's disease, and then because the circulation is sluggish, atherosclerosis, varicose veins. So what are my dietary suggestions for that? Well, I would definitely give them a blood-friendly diet. So that means, again, for the circulation, a little bit more lower in saturated fat, but increase the omega-3s. And we definitely want to put some nutritional foods in there, like rich mineral vitamin foods, which I show here, right here, is iodine-rich foods like seaweed. And then high fiber, remember, intake for better elimination. So to really have a healthy body, we want to get rid of the waste. So we don't want to hold on to metabolic waste. So by introducing fiber, you have a better elimination. So that was just like, the generalized, everybody understands physical iridology. You can find lots of information about that already on YouTube or on videos. But honestly, there's nothing helping anymore if you're not going to put the emotions into the physical layers. So what does that mean? Well, in emotional iridology, we also mapped now the specific emotions to the specific organ system. This is nothing new. This has existed for, again, long time, because the Chinese medicine already believed on that specific feelings or emotions are connected to an organ. So let me just go a little bit through it here. You can see here, I like the adrenals, because right now with COVID-19, every is pretty much stressed out, fearful. We don't have any trust anymore, right, in anything, what's being told to us. And we also are fearful of what's going to happen and how long is this gonna go on. So sorry, I have like a little feedback in the sound system. So gallbladder is about suppressed anger. So I want to show you what that means. It doesn't mean that the moment I'm like a little angry that I'm going to have gallbladder issue. It means that when I hold on to the specific emotion, then for a long time, it can interfere with the vibration, the vitality of the physical organ after a while. So that means like adrenal glands, for example, is about worrying and prolonged fear. Breast, which breast cancer is about feeling emotionally nurtured. So what that means, a lot of clients who come to me who had breast cancer, I always find out that those are very loving and caring people that give so much to others, but feel uncomfortable to be on the receiving end. So I actually need to teach them to get nurtured from somebody else, not always to be the nurturer. And it's very interesting how breast tissue is the symbol for being nurtured. So gallbladder is hatred and bitterness and inability to forgive. And I love that one because, the number one surgery it's done daily in Europe and in America is gallbladder has been taken out. So it's bitterness, inability to forgive. So this is where I'm always working with clients, not only on their digestive system issues with herbs for the physical way. I also want to know if there's anything that they're like bitter about it. And to 90%, it's true. So heart is emotionally attached with the feelings of love, needed. They wanted to have the feeling of being needed, also appreciated. And as you know, sometimes when people are in very high positions in the corporate world, there's definitely not so much of appreciation as dog eats dog world. So that's like one thing to think about it right away too. And then pancreas, jealousy, being overlooked. And I would put in one more thing in there. They're also looking for the sweetness in life because they can't find it in their life at that moment, either business wise or relationship wise. So they're turning more to sugar because that makes their life more sweeter. Kidneys is the inability to forgive or fear and confusions. And skin is that somebody's getting under your skin, somebody is rubbing you wrong. So this is just like a few insights. So of course, I want to also talk now how do we do this, right, in iridology? Well, in iridology, to find out your emotional patterns and also your personality trait and behavioral traits. In this case, we look at not the color. We're looking if there are certain patterns, and you can here see some rings. You can here see the fibers going really straight out. It's almost like I'm rubbing my hair and then my hair sticks away. So you can see that. And then here you can see the loops, right? Right here. So it looks literally like a sunflower. I mean, I think. So this, it has all a meaning because you know what? Nature is fascinating. The human body is so fascinating. We have not even kind of scratched the surface from it. So there is reason for that. From research, we found out that when there are so many rings, they're literally called ring of accomplishments. And you get the idea that's a person, right, that is so busy doing that it stop being in its human being world, like to enjoy. So a type A personality, nothing wrong with that. Okay, don't get me wrong, it's good. But what the point is for me as an iridologist is when I point out that this person genetically is a much better to go like achiever, then I will teach them the opposite direction of letting go, feeling nature more, quiet themselves more, because that doesn't come natural to them. But at the end, I believe on this earth, we all want to try to be more balanced, have a stronger equanimity. So if my yang is so strong, then I'm going to go into the yin. So type A personnel, successful, driven, ambitious, motivated, soul is busy doing, may not stop paying attention to itself, unwilling to slow down. Dietary and lifestyle suggestions. This one is my favorite because when I work with clients like this and they seem to be sedentary and I tell them, you need to start to work out a little bit. What I mean is just incorporate a little bit more, nature walks, yoga, breathing exercise. But to 99%, they come back and they sign up with a trainer or they sign up for a Broadway run or a marathon training practice. And I'm like, that is too much because at the end, what I was saying from beginning on, they need to be balanced. That means we don't need to be an overachiever now in the exercise field. So I need to teach them to do meditation instead of their boot camp. Also, what is driving your energy high? Of course, sugar, right? So they love the stimulation drinks like coffee, chocolate, energy drinks, sugar, and that keeps them going. But over years and years doing that, by running with borrowed energy, you can get sucked into the adrenal fatigue where your body doesn't react anymore to stimulators because the adrenals are shot. So this is really what it is. Iridology is an empowerment tool, a preventive care. like it says, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So let's look at this eye. This is a neurogenic type, much more different. You can see there's no circles straight around it, but their fibers are really straight out. So they're still very goal-driven, intense, logic thinker. So everything has to have an explanation, a clarification, quizzitive. Those are the little kids, they ask you 20,000 questions about one thing. But hard worker, and they also forget to rest because there's so much in their head. They need to figure out so much in this life that they don't have time to relax. So their soul is more protective and does not allow just anyone in. Little bit inflexible in thinking and unchangeable. Once they make up their mind, that's it. So this is just what they're born in. It doesn't mean that you're exactly like that, but again, like I told you, in case you run to the mirror and take your own pictures now, iPhones take great pictures nowadays. Go and listen to my recording again and find out which personality trait you might fit in. So what I'm doing with this one is, because there's so much in their heads, right? I, of course, need to give them a very easy digestible diet, because the parasympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that does everything automatically, that digests, it eliminates, it helps you, get rid of viruses, bacteria. But if you're so busy in your head, most of your energy is then stuck in your sympathetic nervous system. So the way you can remember that is, sympathetic nervous system is the fight and flight. Parasympathetic is the rest and digest, right? So since they don't rest and digest, I need to give them food that's easy to be absorbed. It's alkaline, semi-raw, the easiest way to digest. It should also be high in omega-3s and vitamin B, because that is nourishing to the nervous system. And exercise should be fun again. Belly dancing, paint run, hiking, anything that makes them laugh a little bit and come out of this logic thinking. As you can see now, I'm in the third personality trait, and that one you can clearly see that now the fibers are not that straight. We don't have a ring on the edge either. We're having all those little loops right here. So again, it looks a little bit like a flower. And you know what? Because it already looks like a flower, those are more our creative, artistic people. So I think probably 90% of Hollywood artists are pretty much looking like this. That's my guess, because very expressive, creative. They love to be the center of attention. They love social gatherings, extroverts, a little moody, a little dramatic, but excitable. And the soul is very trustful. So they kind of open up to everybody and anybody. So one of my friends is like this. And when I ask her, how are you? She just like always has trauma. She immediately has to tell me, you won't believe what happened to me. If I would ask a neurogenic type, if the straight fibers, how are they doing? They would say, I'm very busy. Like they don't even go into the feelings. So what do I do with my polycalendula iris, my artistic eye? Well, again, I need to give them high nutritional diets, because their emotions kind of take control. Superfoods like wheatgrass, spirulina, and royale jelly is really great. It gives you a punch of great nutrients in small amounts of calories, and it's very supportive for the structure, because now we're talking about somebody who has more issues with prolapse of your bladder, maybe hernias. So the structure needs to be rebuilt and stay strong, because they have a good emotional presence. So eliminate alcohol and high caloric foods, because it could drain the emotions. But the interesting thing is, I do tell them to do weight training, because we want to take care of the structure of the body. So here's just a little fun fact. You can also see if you were born, and I'm saying born because sometimes you can be untaught to be what you're supposed to be. I don't know if you've ever seen, but sometimes parents can influence children. So if they are more artistic, They can push them into accounting because they think that accounting might just make them more money financially in the future. But the point is, when we are born in this life, we come into this lifetime with our blue chip, with our blueprint already. Our chip is the eyes. And you know that the eyes are the extension of the brain. So there's no denying what kind of experiences you wanted to have from begin on in this lifetime by having this kind of patterns in your eyes. So another research we did in the last 20, 30 years was that the more signs we can see in one eye, the more we know that this is the overpowering hemisphere of your brain. So as you know, the right eye is connected to the left brain. So if you know anybody who have ever had a stroke on the left side, the right side will be paralyzed, vice versa. So in this case, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a loop right here. I can see a sign here, a little bit of the loops here and here and here. But right here, there's only 1, 2, 3. So you can see that one is not the most signs. See, it's comma, right? So this is the right eye, so that would be a left brain finger. But because we see more signs in this eye on loops and fibers and pigments, then this brain becomes the stronger one, which is right brain thinker. So let me just show you what the difference is between a right brain thinker's diet and a left brain thinker's diet, because I'm talking about giving my clients dietary suggestions to stay healthy and prevent things from happening. Here is this is called a salad. When I went to Amsterdam, there was one of the #1 world restaurants, and he just kind of got stuff out from the beach and from the nature and just made salads out of this. As you can tell, I'm a little bit more left brain oriented person. So for me, I was even confused that this is considered a salad. For me, this is a salad, right? So when I have right brain oriented people with me, I know immediately how to coach them because I have to be more creative for them. I give them creative handouts. I give them creativity to create their own recipes. So all that stuff is very important when you are in a coaching field, especially in a holistic coaching field. So as you can see here, there are more signs. Here's a little ball. Here's more brown pigments. Right brain is left oriented, and here's less. So that would be the right brain. So you see, right brain thinkers seek variety, interesting taste, and the left brain thinker seeks consistency and familiar food. So now let me go a little bit into the spiritual iridology. Spiritual iridology just popped into our world since we're using digital cameras. Maybe before it has been too, but it was more vague because we didn't have any research in it or proof that that practitioner really sees images popping off from the pupils. But now we capture them with the cameras, so we actually can not deny that something is happening here. So when you really look at this eye right here, first of all, this eye is only a pupil, as you can see. There is no fiber on it. There's no color on it. And this is a long story of mine because for the longest time, I've seen spiritual images on pupils or images on their fibers. But of course, I didn't say anything because I felt like, embarrassed and I didn't know what's going on. And I didn't want to discredit my professionalism with my science-based knowledge as well. So one day, a woman comes to my Expo booth long time ago, and she was blind, and she said she was being told that she needs to get an iridology reading. And I'm like, okay, but I really don't know how to read your eyes if you don't have any fibers or color structures on it. And she says, no, I'm here, I'm sure you can read something. And this is exactly how I came out of my so-called spiritual closet, I think. So when you tune in a little bit, and I hope the attendants from this talk can see it, there's a little bit of a face of a woman with bangs right here, and like the hair is the same length as mine. And so because I couldn't read anything else, I had to pop out this question, ask if this means anything to her. And she told me that her mother passed away on breast cancer, and that's the image she's being told she looks like. So it's very, very fascinating. And then when you look a little further down and you squint a little bit, you might be even able to see this angelic kind of energy. You can see that. And that also was another question of mine to her. And it turns out that she had a necklace with Archangel Michael on her neck, because she said she's protected from Archangel Michael at all times. So you can see iridology even now really truly becomes the value of what we already always said. We always said it's the window to the soul, right? So here are images, they're reflected off the pupil lens that will be able to be interpreted based on the consciousness of the reader. So it still depends of the person who is your iridologist, how open they are with their own intuition and with their crown chakras. So Alicia Rocco, an iridologist, mentioned that the pupil can turn into a crystal ball if the soul of the person wishes to share with others. Same thing. For the longest time, I had always questioned, like, why don't I see anything in this person? Why do I see stuff in the other person? And that's exactly because the spirit knows when a person is ready for that message. So I wouldn't see anything if that person is just not really there yet to receive any spiritual messages. So in this case, you can see here a little bit of a yellow area color, right? Well, the yellow is associated with the third chakra. So I don't know if you know about all the 7 chakras, but most people who are in a New Living Expo attendees have heard about chakras, right? So we have 7 chakras. When the light reflects off from your pupil in an iridology session, that is the chakra you should actually work on the most. So in this case, that person has more issues with the third chakra, which is about confidence, self-confidence, self-esteem. So maybe there are some who has made them feel less worth, maybe in the relationship, and it's also as affected physically to the energy in the digestive system. So as you can see now, I can do a physical, emotional, and a spiritual evaluation of your iris. So that is one way of doing the images. Then this one is very vague. I know you might not be able to see it through, Zoom and the camera, but there was a tiny little face of a little boy. Again, when I do the readings, I have no clue what that means. So of course, then I just relay that information about this image to that person who sits in front of me, and I ask them, what does that mean, that 8-year-old little boy? And I remember that this woman's son passed away on cancer at exactly that age when I was guessing that image. And then right here, you can see this looks a little bit like a UFO or something, right? When you look on the edge or the side, or it could be looking like a planetary system. You can see a little bit of this light coming through. Well, for me, that image popped into my mind as astrology. So I asked this client if they have ever been intrigued about stars and planetary system. And of course, this person told me that she's debating for the last 2 years to study astrology because she was always so intrigued. So by me just that image towards her and interpreting it for her just gave her enough information and excitement to really embark in that direction of her life. So how does this work now, right? Well, I do a physical, emotional, and spiritual reading now. So here's a 45-year-old female artist. Okay, she's like a very famous known artist. She actually has a painting here in Philadelphia where I'm located right now. I'm originally from Vienna, but I'm here in Philadelphia. So for me, it's actually right now 3:30 p.m. So she shows, as we learned from begin on, when I was talking about, that the area is darker into the center. So she's a mixed eye. So of course, there's more weaker digestive system now, as we learned from having a mixed eye. Emotionally, you can see here a darker ring, and this is where the skin is. So we know the skin is about, somebody's getting under her skin, or maybe she want to shed her skin. So of course I asked her, and it was very interesting, and I'll get to this in a point, because on her other eye, unfortunately I couldn't find this eye for the talk today. She had an image of a skull in her pupil, which is like, that new beginning in the Mexican history of, a new start. So when I ask her, now she has skin, she want to like, something gets underneath her skin and a skull. So I said to her, what is there a new beginning, or is there an end? And she literally decided to actually change her name permanently to her artist name. So she literally planned for the next day after my session to go to the government and change her name to her artist name. I thought it was very interesting. And not only did she decide to change her name, that wasn't enough yet for me. She told me that the whole scene on the East Coast is getting under her skin. And I thought, okay, interesting. And she said that she feels like she needed to spread her wings. And that's why she decided to actually go on apprenticeship to some kind of artist in Japan. So you can see what happened. The meaning had double meaning for her at that moment of my reading. So the eyes don't lie. So what are we going to suggest now? Of course, easy digestible foods, because our digestive system is the weakest link. I remember she came to me with severe allergies. She didn't know where it came from. It turns out to be a very, very severe gluten intolerance, even if she got the gluten intolerance test medically. It didn't register as positive, but she still is super gluten sensitive. So I had to take out all the gluten, and she slowly healed more and more in her digestive system. And then I put foods in like cucumber and celery for better lymphatic stimulation. As herbs, since I'm a master herbalist, I of course put in milk thistle, because milk thistle is all about the liver and digestion. And golden seal is about bacteria. So when somebody comes to me who is very bloated, has indigestion, and I also make sure that there are no bacteria in there, and digestive enzymes. So emotional suggestion for me, of course, is the stomach is associated with the third chakra as well, as you remember. So even if I didn't see a yellow light in a pupil, I know to work on that. And then the skin is associated with the red chakra. And then she already took care of the new beginning and the relocating through her own intuition or instincts. So what does it mean now? Now, most people are always like worried with the DNA. They're like, oh my God, I have this DNA and I have this DNA, and my father passed away on that, and my mother passed away on that. So what will it be for me? And there's one for sure equation that I think nobody should forget. It's not just your genetics that keeps you healthy or unhealthy. It is what age you feel like it. And this is why I love the picture of this woman smiling that much. As long as we keep our vibration inner childlike, then it doesn't matter how old you are. The moment we become really depressed and moody, then you can be a 25-year-old and seem like an old man. So you want to keep your spirit up high despite the fact what age you are. Lifestyle, of course, is important. People sometimes come to my practice and they say, well, they work hard and they play hard, but sometimes it doesn't pay out anymore. After a while, you do get caught up with your issues from your genetics if you don't change appropriately your lifestyle to the DNA. And then diet, of course, everybody has a profit to change the diet into a more high nutritional diet. I also like this here that I put in, because at the end, emotionally, you should not just always be the angel and everybody tramples all over you. You also need to be and standing up sometimes for your own good. So it's good to be a balanced personality. So sometimes you snap back and sometimes you give. This is my line of products, but that I give to my clients. I still believe in herbs as teas. I know herbs have been sold so much nowadays in pill forms, but remember, when clients come sometimes with digestive issues and I give them pills again, then they cannot absorb it again. So my tip for you is if you get any herbs, then try first to either get them in tinctures or in teas. And this is what I'm offering. So I am the president of the International Iridology Association, as I mentioned to you already, and we offer it for the first time, $500 cheaper our iridology course. Usually it's a set price, so you never can find any iridology instructors to beat each other up with a cheaper price. It's set from the organization, but we have lowered the price of $500 due to the pandemic right now worldwide, and you're also able to do it online. So generally, I teach all over America on the West and East Coast before, the pandemic came. So right now, my next course will be in January 16 and 17 and January 23rd, 24th. So if you're interested, just check out, the information on my website. And, send me information that you're interested so I can honor the $500 discount that you get for this talk today. Also, I have clients all over the world because the iridology the cameras of your phones are just as good as my digital iridology cameras nowadays. So this is where it's getting really exciting because I have clients now literally from Japan and from Australia, from my hometown, Austria. I have still lots of clients. All what they do is they send me a picture from their right and left eye, and then I set up a virtual online consultation. And it works just like we did today with all my sample irises for you to find out what is it all about. So you get a discount for that as well, $50 for your personal online iridology consultation. Just go to my practice website. This is my practice, birgitcare.com, and sign up for individual personal consultation. So here's just a quick little info that I wanted to tell you too. I think as an attendee of the New Living Expo, you get a virtual swag bag. So I threw in a nice little free ebook for you about the three-dimensional healing for your digestive issues. Again, pointing out some signs, and maybe if you take your own picture again, you can self-analyze what it means for you to have maybe issues with your iris, with your digestive system. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that talk, and let me know if you have any questions. So let me see, are there any questions? Did you see any, Ashley, for me, or should I just go through it?
The only questions that people put in the box was saying that they couldn't see your screen, but other than that, there weren't other questions. But maybe I would suggest.
Did you see my screen?
I could not. No, it was only a picture of you.
Really, the whole time?
Really, yeah.
Okay, so what we could do is I could record it again. You guys have the recording sessions up for how long? 5 days?
30 days after the show ends.
Okay. Why don't I record it? Why don't I record the session again for you guys? With the slides. Okay, and then they can watch the recordings if they want to.
Yeah, and I know you have to upload it to YouTube to have sound and to be able to share your screen. But I would get in touch with Tony and Ken to talk to them about that.
Okay, so if everybody is interested to see the slides as well that I showed and talked about it, let's do that. And I'm just going to load it up and you can see it.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm not sure why it didn't work because I clicked on the share screen, the button of the share screen.
Yeah.
So I'm confused about that. But, this is a all new world that we're in right now. We're floating and swimming along, and sometimes we just kind of lose track. Yeah. I swear I've been doing virtual expos since March, and everybody has a different platform, like there's Zoom that I use, daily basis. So I'm very familiar with that. And then everybody else has different kind of edits forms now into their live expos. And maybe sometimes it just don't work, with my computer or there's a setting, but it shouldn't be any issues.
Were you using
I was just,
Firefox or Chrome?
yeah, I do Chrome.
Chrome, yeah, that's usually the one that works the best as far as sharing your screen. But this is
Right?
the new world. Everyone has to kind of,
Yeah, that's
we're
what I'm
all
saying.
figuring it out together. So it's,
And this is where it's good because I was talking about the eyes, straight fibers out. I'm the inflexible one, and it's almost like this year have been made me be so flexible. I
mhm.
float with anything. They're like, virtual booth, yes, I got it.
Yep.
Whatever format, I'll do
Yeah.
it.
And if you
So,
want to put in, I know the chat won't save, but if you want
mhm,
to put in your website for people
mhm.
to go to directly and get in contact with you, or if you do you have a booth?
Yeah, I have a booth.
Okay, because people, you can, after your talk, because your talk will end, in 15,
Mhm,
12 minutes, then people can
mhm,
go directly to your booth and then ask you any questions, and you can have like a one-on-one talk with
mhm.
them on your booth, which is nice.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, so like I said, we'll get it done with Ken, who runs the New Living Expo, right? And we're
Yes.
gonna set it up on some sort of YouTube link, and he can just give it to them as a
Yeah,
information
use
how
that
to
one
reach my
instead of
talk.
this one. Yeah, because it was,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to interrupt you because I think
Hmm.
that's rude. But it wasn't, you weren't able to share, you weren't able to see your screen at all. Because
Hmm.
in my notes, it says that you were sharing your screen,
Yes,
but
and I was actually.
it was just your beautiful face.
Oh, good.
So they just got to see more of you, but people, it helps to see, what
Yes,
kind of,
I am. I agree with this. Like a lot of times, presenters never have slideshows. I'm all about visual stimulation. I'm a
yeah,
learner of audio and reading myself the words and seeing pictures. So
yeah.
I have a full slideshow with that, and I'll be happy to redo it and just send it to you guys.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
And you have 10 more minutes, so if there are any questions and people are still on,
Okay.
if you want to
There we go.
ask the questions or ask directly, feel free.
Okay, if we don't have any question, I'll tell you something. So, since I'm such a yeah, are you German? Ja, ich bin Deutsch und ich spreche Deutsch eigentlich besser als English. So I speak German better than English. But here's the story that I have to tell you guys. I'm finally an author of a book, a co-author of, and it just came out, and it's called Unstoppable Women: Overcoming Mediocrity. And so I'm so excited. It actually became already an Amazon bestseller. Unfortunately, I can't make any big, huge book launch parties right now. I'm just having to hold back till the government lets me make parties. But so you can also see about information about my book at my virtual booth here on the New Living Expo. It's a great book. It's 25 women who just overcame certain stories, like what I mean with that, stories like, where the naysayers are the loudest and you're the only yes there for certain projects or certain beliefs. And they all have incredible stories to overcome. Just once, one story I was reading from the same book, and I was fascinated. She was like a woman who just like decided to run 7 marathons within 1 week because she thinks she can do it. And I'm like, that is fascinating. So this book is really fun to read or even give as a gift for Christmas. And I think that would be fascinating to check it out at my booth. And then, of course, you can go to my personal iridology readings. You don't be in my neighborhood anymore to come into my practice. So check that out from my website. And another book is coming out from myself. I'm working on another book, and it's called Iridology: The Eyes Towards Happiness. So there are signs in our eyes that can actually show us how much happy we can be through our genetics, which is very interesting. Sometimes, I mean, I'm a mom already and I have a teenager, and every once in a while I discover I become a mom. It's not that good, right? Certain times you're like, when you're young, you're like, I'm never gonna be like my mom, like that boring. And it's very fascinating how I can see that on my genetics, that there is a certain sign of inflexibility, and I know what I know and I don't want to enhance my knowledge. And so by knowing that, I'm so aware of it, and I'm trying to change that. And so I'm writing this chapter in this book about 25 tips for happiness. And my topic is that there is sometimes truth to us, that there is the DNA, and sometimes we say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
Very
But awareness is all what we need. That's it. Awareness that we just have to work into the other direction. So, can hear. John is saying that he cannot hear. John cannot hear us. So, can you hear us?
Yes.
Turn your
Can you
volume
hear me?
up on your computer.
Anyway, so any more questions from me? If not, then I'm happy you guys joined me. I'm gonna give you a slideshow because I'm all about entertainment. I mean, it's good that you want to look at my face, but after a while, I probably got tired, boring, or something like that. Thank you, guys. So you said I can leave the booth and then be over in my virtual booth, correct?
Yes. And then people can just go directly to your booth. And how to get, if anyone doesn't know, if anyone's on here and does not know how to get to your booth, you go to the main hall tab up on the top where there's 3 tabs. You go to the main hall tab. You are going to scroll down to, well, the first booth that you're going to see is the information booth. That is like if you have questions, concerns, comments, anything like that, you can actually talk to a live person there. And then all of the booths are in alphabetical order underneath the information booth. So you just scroll and then your picture is on like the cover of your booth, and so you just click on that, and then there's a live chat or virtual chat, either text or video for either one of them. So it's very easy to get around there. But if you do have questions, I would suggest going to the information booth and asking, since she knows more about what is going on and everything. And her name is Tony. She's very helpful.
Perfect. And if we still got problems, you know what? You can contact me through my website.
Yes. Yep, we're all learning this together. And
Nancy is that one.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Lovely talk. Bye-bye. Hello. Hi, John Gray. 5 seconds. Rockability. Hello, Jill. I can hear you good. Yeah, can you hear me okay? Awesome. We do not yet. We have actually, sorry, we have one person. So maybe wait a couple minutes for a couple more people to come in, and then I'll introduce you, and you're off and running. And you are sharing your screen, is that correct, Jill? Okay, you're not doing that. Absolutely. So I have a couple of links that Tony had sent me. Do you want me to just copy and paste those? Those, like, I think there's two links. No. Do you, and Okay, let me make sure that I have all of those. Yeah, I do. I actually do have. I have all three of those. So just give me a cue of when you want me to post them, and I will copy and paste them into the chat box. Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm also going to, when people come in, just say to mute everybody. Would you like people to leave their videos on if they want, or do you want me to turn everyone's videos off? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll definitely I'll just mute everybody so there's no background noise and no interruption on there. But I'll keep track of the questions and everything like that too. Oh, I'll keep track of the questions for you as well. Uh-oh. Let me try this really quick one. Is that better? No? You're coming through okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. You can't hear me? Let me, I'm going to refresh my screen. You go, is it good now? Thumbs up? Okay. I think it's my internet. I think it's going, it kind of, now it's saying it's at 100%. So welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. The next speaker we have is Jill. It's how to stay visible in uncertain times using publicity. Jill is an international speaker. She's an author of 4 best-selling books. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in your marketplace. She is a CEO and has over 25 years experience working with over 100,000 people plus national and international media. Jill teaches a virtual publicity crash course and consults and speaks all over the world. Please welcome to our stage, Jill. Let me see. So fun. This is great. Uh-huh. yeah, yeah, yeah. So Vivian, my first presentation, there were a bunch of people coming in and not muting themselves, and I was like, "Can I put in the chat, please mute yourself?" People just weren't, and there was like 40 people in there. When I was talking to Tony, I was texting Tony, and I'm like, "Is there a way to like see the other people? Like, say they don't have the video, there's no way to like see them and like know who's talking." So then I just pressed the mute on, but then it muted Vivian too. Yeah, and then it just yeah, then it uh yeah, 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 yeah. And I was talking to Jill like right before I introduced her, and I'm like, "Do you want me to turn everyone's video off?" And she's like, "No, I want to see people." So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, 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 because it's all that extra space on the right side. Yeah, just wasted. Yeah, exactly. It's just mostly for I don't even know what it would be for. Um, then so my second Bergrit. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, exactly. What I've been doing, like my first room, there was a bunch of questions and she ran out of time because for like the first 5 minutes, she was having difficulties of her sound was super muffled. So she had someone come in and like mess around, so it would waste like 5 or 10 minutes of it. And so but it was ended up being fine. And so then there was this one person that put in like 3 questions, and at the end, she said, "Are you able to answer any questions?" And at that point, it was already done, and my computer was like freaking out. It like was frozen, and it was just all messed up. And I realized that if I turn my video off, then my internet works a lot better. Like my internet's at 100%, but before it was at like 30% because I had my video on but my sound off. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing now forward. But it's just like the first one was a little bit iffy. Like I think it's just saying that it's like not even saying that it's because mine's like that too, and my little green light's on. But I think it's just saying that it's like it can use your video, but the video is turned off. Yeah, it's like I don't really know. So for my second person, Margaret, she wanted to share her screen and thought that she was sharing her screen, but she's like at the end of her thing, she's like, "Are there any questions?" And the only people that are putting comments and stuff in the box where we can't see your screen, we can't see your screen, like share your presentation. So she said that she's going to re-record it and actually put her screen. So because she was talking about like eyes and different like irises, and different colors, and different traits, and, like personality traits and stuff, and no one knew really what she was talking about because it was just showing her face, it was just showing her screen. So she said that she's going to re-record it with, and I said you do have to upload it to YouTube to make it so that your sound and your screen share is on. Yeah. Well, it's mostly. I think it's just mostly like a presentation, like an Excel, or it's like yeah, like a slideshow. But if she wants to be able to like have sound behind the slideshow. I said, and she knew, but I told her, I'm like, get in touch with Ken, get in touch with Tony to do that. Yeah, and I know I saw that too. It pretty much just takes over the whole chat. Exactly. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I have a feeling it's not possible too because yeah, it's just a different platform. Yeah, yeah, which is, it's kind of nice that you can see when people come in, but like you don't really need to know that because on the bottom it says manage participants, like how many people are in the room. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I know a lot of people like this one girl came in and like she left and then entered the session and then left again. So it's like three lines. Yeah, yeah. You booted him. So when you boot someone out of the room, out of like a room, they can't get back in. So are they they're just booted out for that room? Like if they wanted to go into the next room, then they're not booted out. Okay, I'm like, well, 'cause, like over if you just tap on like if you go over someone's picture, like it's a pretty easy thing to like accidentally press boot user because it says like stop like mute stop video the boot user. So I'm like being really careful to not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I asked Tony the exact same thing because my first one I could not get it to the record because I wasn't as like a speaker or a host or whatever. So then she like Tony said that she recorded Vivian and then Birgit, yeah, and now I'm able to have like all the controls and stuff. So that's good. But I noticed the same thing because I recorded. I know I pressed the record button right when Jill and I started talking on this one, and now it just says record the session, but it doesn't say it in the top left hand corner. So I'm like, is it recording or what? But hold on, Jill is talking to me. Hello, there. Yes, I will. Yes. Okay, I will post all three. You're welcome. Yeah, she has like the special request. No, I asked her, like, on my notes, it says that she's sharing her screen, but I asked her, I'm like, are you going to be sharing your screen? Because the other two people that were saying that they were going to, they were obviously having trouble with it. Yeah, and so she's not sharing her screen. But this is, I mean, it's yeah, It's yeah, a lot of little steps for sure, but I think it's all yeah, who knows? Yeah, it looks like Tony's in my room right now. She's in my session. Yeah, yeah. Like she was I entered the session and then Tony entered the session and Jill entered the session. So yeah. Ooh, yum. Yeah. Oh my oh my god. Maybe she didn't realize her camera was on. Or it's just like, yeah, just have it all out there. Oh my god. A little stress relief. A little bit, yeah, yeah. I mean, because mine goes till like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, because I'm an hour later. But Daniel's coming home today, and I think I'm gonna, because I don't want to have any distractions tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna go somewhere else and do this office or something that in the conference room. Because Daniel's gonna be here, he's gonna make noise, and I don't want to take over the whole downstairs with this. So yeah, yeah. But I mean, there's good internet there, so that's all that really matters. You know, find somewhere that's good internet. Okay, well, enjoy your lunch. Okay, Talk to you later. No, there's no questions in the chat yet. Oh, there there are no questions in the chat. Yep. Candace, you are muted too. I can unmute you if you need. Actually, sorry, I can't unmute you. So at the bottom of your screen, it will say start video, and then the second button, it will have a little microphone. Press that. Now it says, okay, there you are. We, yep. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my video off so then it's a better connection. I do not see any questions right now. Thank you, Jill. Thank you. Bye-bye. I don't know how to turn this off. Good afternoon. Good, how are you? So it looks like do you have two screens open with the same link on them? Because I see two pictures of you. Yeah, so it looks like you have two different pages, two pages open with the same link because I see a double picture of you. One says muted and one says not muted. Okay, then that's good. Now I can just see one picture of you and I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. So there's 27 people in your room. I'm going to record this now. Welcome everyone. The next presenter we have is Paul. Paul lived in India for 14 years from 1998 to 2012, where he studied with the Saint Sir, excuse me for my singing. I'm sure Paul will explain what that is, Kalstrawa. During this time, Paul experienced many miracles and witnessed the reality of what is truly possible as a human being. Welcome to the stage, Paul.